as many of you guys know by now, Jaron Boots Ennis is the IBF World Welterweight Champion. After the IBF wrongfully strips Terence Crawford of the IBF title, of course, Terence Crawford has a situation that he's dealing with Errol Spence in regards to the next potential rematch, right? IBF took it upon themselves less than 6 months after the fight with Spence to strip Terence Crawford to elevate Jaron Boots Ennis as the IBF champion. Now everybody's calling Jaron Boots Ennis the IBF email champion. But my boy YSM Sports Media got a hold of Jaron Boots Ennis, the new IBF champion, to give his thoughts and his reaction to becoming IBF champion and what does he want to do next. Let's see what he had to say.
With IBF World Champion, Jaron Ennis.
What's going on? How you?
You like the sound of that?
Yeah, it sounds good.
All right. Well, news broke yesterday that you were upgraded to full champion. Terence Crawford was stripped. What's your thoughts on the whole situation?
I mean, it is what it is. They bought it by the rules. It was out of my hands. It was an IBF game. So at the end of the day, I'm world champion now, and I'm ready to make these big fights happen. Fight all the top guys, and make my mark. In this boxing game. Like I said, if I get my hands on one of these belts, it's over with. It's over now. They might as well pack it up.
Now, Jaron Boots Ennis, it's not his fault, right? It's not his fault. He did what he's supposed to do as a fighter. Some may feel he could do more to kind of get himself out there to get to some of the bigger fights. But one thing I will say is that just because you got that belt, little brother, doesn't mean that those opportunities are going to come your way. Guys are going to find a way to say, oh, well, the IBF belt doesn't hold any value. What will they say to Crawford? Nobody wants WB. No belt. They try to act like that whole belt didn't exist. So Jaron Boots Ennis may go through some of the same things that Terence Crawford and some of the other fighters before them went through. Even though you're a champion, that doesn't mean anything. Next, what's his pay-per-view numbers looking like? What's his ticket sales looking like? What's his gate looking like? Is it even worth me fighting Jaron Boots Ennis? Right? They're going to still find a way to avoid Jaron Boots Ennis. He's still going to have to do more. Now, him getting the belt was a good notch to have, right? Okay, he got something to offer these guys now, a belt. So that's something. But I still believe that Jaron Boots Ennis is going to need some more.
Now, you feel like, well, for most of your career, you were considered high risk, low reward. Yeah. But now you're the IBF World Champion. Right. You feel like now that they'll be forced to get in the ring with you?
They got it. Yeah, you got to get in the ring with me. Like I said before, what's going to be the excuse now? Like, I got a belt. Now you come get the belt. But the belt's not important now. So I'm saying you got to see, see what they're gonna do.
What's the first fight that makes the most sense, in your opinion?
The first fight that makes the most sense? Yeah. Don't really matter. It depends what these guys gonna do. I heard something about burials, and so I think they're trying to throw burials at me.
Now I heard that. Don't quote me on it, but I heard Cody Crowley was offered $50,000. I think that's cap. And then I heard Mario Barrios was offered something low as well, and they both turned the fight down. This is just rumors. I'm not sure how true this is, right? Barrios is one of the guys that I've seen more recently said he would be interested in facing Boots Ennis. So that's likely a next opponent for Jaron Boots Ennis. But other than that, I don't see anybody else really lining up at the door. Terence Crawford is on to bigger, better things. He's in a whole different weight class, allegedly, right? 154 pounds. Let's see what else he had to say.
Anybody though, Keith Thurman, Barrios, Stan Jonas, that's definitely another guy. Bud still another guy, Smith still another guy. Even though I think Smith's about to go at 54 or whatever, but all those guys still on my radar. I want to fight the best. I don't want to fight like no mediocre competition. I want to fight great guys. People with names, names that people know.
In order for Boots to be able to do that, he's gonna have to do more. Getting the belt was just the first step. Getting that belt was just the first step. He needs to do a little bit more, right? He's going to have to do a little bit more. Guys like Spencer Crawford on a different level, a different realm right now. They looking for big paydays and the big marquee fights. Jaron Boots Ennis, 26 years old, still got some ways to go, and he can still increase his profile. Get into some spats with some guys. Get into some back and forth with some guys. Maybe push the envelope on a Terence Crawford fight. Get Crawford to come back down to 147 to fight you. Boots still going to have to do a little bit more work. Just getting the belt simply just isn't enough. We've seen many guys over the years that had world titles that still simply couldn't get fights. Boo Boo Andre, Terence Crawford, Guillermo Rigondeaux, Gary Russell Jr. Do I got to go back in the past to start naming guys as well? I mean, we've seen it in this era alone, and it's not going to change anytime soon. But Jaron Boots Ennis, like I said, you guys, it's not his fault. You know, he did what he's supposed to do as a young fighter. And unfortunately for Terence Crawford, the politics in regards to the IBF just doesn't favor Terence Bud Crawford. And we've seen that in the past.
You mentioned Terence Crawford, even though he vacated or he got stripped, he's still on your radar.
Definitely. You know, like I said, I mean, it's not the way that we wanted to, you know, get the belt. You know, we rather take the belt from somebody. You know, it's, you know, it'll feel better when you take it from somebody. But like I said, at the end of the day, you know, IBF, by the rules or whatever, you know, it was out of my hands. You know, it wasn't in my hands.
So Boots came out on the record, said this is not really what we wanted, but, you know, I'll be a fool kind of not to take it too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not mad at Boots. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at Boots. I'm not mad at the Innocents. They did what they were supposed to do. And IBF, if you're going to be angry at anybody, I suggest box fans, Bud fans, look at the IBF. Jaron Boots Ennis did what he's supposed to do as a fighter. And, you know, it's just so happened he's the guy next up in line. Right? So they stripped Terence Bud Crawford, a fighter who I feel has become a beloved fighter over the years. And yeah, people not too happy about Bud getting stripped, but Bud Crawford himself don't really seem to care too much. He don't really seem to favor IBF much anyway. Bernie the Boxer came out and said we throwing that belt in the trash and all this other stuff. So yeah, Terence Bud Crawford himself hasn't really spoke on this particular situation. Maybe when one of these guys like Fight Hype, somebody get the camera in his face, then they can give Terence Crawford's direct thoughts on this. But as of right now, he don't seem to really care too much. You know, he got to fight with Spence, and he's going to double down on Canelo Alvarez. Yeah, salute to my boy YSM Sports Media for the interview. Had to get word on what Boots had to say, right? So Boots, this is his first thoughts since becoming IBF World Champion, email champions, they call him. And you look, man, it's not Boots' fault, but he said he still wants to face Terence Bud Crawford. Now, do you really want to fight Bud? I mean, of course he do. It's a payday. It's an opportunity. Will he beat Bud? Nah, I don't think so. You know, I don't think Boots can beat Bud Crawford right now. But like I said before, about a year or two ago, the longer this fight takes for it to get made, and if Crawford's still lingering around and Boots still around and pressing him and stuff like that, then I would say Boots has more of a chance because he has youth on his side. However, Terence Crawford, man, he's a different type of guy. So we never know. But I see Terence Crawford just looking for bigger, better fights. Maybe Tim Tszyu, maybe Jermell Charlo, and maybe Canelo Alvarez, right? But I say if he's not able to get any of those guys in the ring for whatever reason, I say he should double back and entertain a fight with Jaron Boots Ennis. Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.